Hey, thanks for joining me. So today I'm going to be making a unique chicken noodle soup. We got this from a friend about a year ago and actually featured it in our recipe section of episode 2 of our podcast. So if you haven't caught the podcast, you can catch the episodes on YouTube now, plus the postpartums, which are our after show bonus content that were before never available to the public. They were only available to those on Patreon. So enough shop talk, we're gonna go ahead and get started, and I hope that you enjoy it. And if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you. So I've got my 2 turnips here. The recipe calls for 3 or 4, but I'm gonna actually just do fewer because that's what we have available right now. So in this stage, you actually don't need to cut it as finely as I was starting to, because you're gonna put them all in a pot together to marry the flavor, and then you're gonna actually get rid of it. So I'm gonna just use one of the turnips and just chop it in chunks. Alright, this recipe also calls for 3 stalks of celery, and if you use the inner part of the stalk that aren't so flavorful for this stage of the soup, you can use the better outer parts later in the next stage of the soup. I'm just going to cut this in big chunks, and then I'll put it in the pot. I admit I forgot about the onions before I started filling the pot, so I may have to downsize on some of the water. So here we go. I was able to get that all in there. So my next stage is to let it just simmer for the next almost an hour. So for this section, I'm just going to use a food processor to chop it up fine, because this needs to be chopped up quite finely. So I have my dehydrated onions here, and McCormick.com said you only need 2 tablespoons of dehydrated onions to equal 1/2 cup of chopped onions. So it's a little bit ambiguous as far as how much 1 onion is gonna make chopped up, but I'm gonna shoot for 1 cup of onions. So I'm gonna do 4 tablespoons, and I'm gonna go ahead and just leave them as is and not mix them in to this. A little bit of education for you about steel pots, in case you are unaware, is that you are going to benefit from not having things leached, chemicals leached into your ingredients. Things like Teflon are going to leak or leach into your food. Even though I've had some things with some non-stick coating in the past, I'm trying to transfer over. I like my steel appliance, or I mean, whatever these are called. I also have a pan of the same variety. It can really be on a lower temperature to heat up, and then it can maintain the temperature a lot better. We're still learning about the pot and trying to figure it out. It's a little more tricky for me to figure out than the pan. It seems like it takes longer to heat up, but I'm hoping to get the hang of it soon. Okay, so now I'm going to be taking this and pouring it into a bowl so that I can use the broth but getting rid of the contents. And then I will be putting my stuff here in with the broth and the onion and the chicken here to continue making chicken noodle soup. Some other ingredients I add are salt, pepper, oregano, Lowry seasoned salt, and garlic powder. I'm just eyeballing the amount because the recipe doesn't say how much. I've added the chicken in, and now I'm going to pour the broth over to give it a little bit more time to marinate. Obviously this bowl was too small, so that was a mistake. It was not too small of a bowl, it was just because I added everything in it already, and so that was part of the problem. I'm going to add a little bit of this broth as well. If I want to add 1 cup's worth of this, I just add 2 teaspoons of the base mix. Okay, so now it's time to add this mixture. All right, now we're going to do 4 of these of the onions. What do you think? Do you think I should add more chicken? So the consensus was yes for more chicken, so we're going to add another can. Okay, we're going to let this go for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to add the noodles. Okay, here it is. Here's the final product. It's a little different looking because the chunks are so small, and we have some really big noodles. But here's our final soup for the night. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe. We'll have more videos to come.